Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Topic.
That's right, it's back, Thunder!
Here from the top 10, I am John Roca.
And I am Matt Nose, and we said to ourselves, it has been far too long since we answered some questions from you guys. We've been having fun with Full Metal Bracket, but we said, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of this, the bread and butter, and start answering some damn questions because we got a backlog of questions. So we are going back to Topic Thunder, excited to answer some questions for the first time in a while. And the way this works is over at our Patreon, patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. There's an email address and people can send in questions, topics, whatever they'd like us to talk about. We don't know what they are in advance. And John, I believe it's your turn to start, sir. So take it away.
Let's do it. All right. This one comes from Matthew Simmons. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. He says, howdy, guys. I'm not sure if you've answered this before, but I was curious at what point and why you decided to stop having guests on the show. Not to say I don't love the show as is, but some of the all-time great top 10 episodes featured a guest. Marvel movies with Draco, 70s movies with Wayne Fetterman, or a couple of my favorites. Any plans to have guests in the future? Thanks for the endless supply of quality content, Matt Simmons. Yeah, Matty brings up an interesting point. Go ahead, please.
We had a conversation at one point and said we're sick of bringing on people better looking than us. So that narrows down the pool of individuals to very few. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Very few. Of all the guests that we have had, they're all attractive people. And be like, I don't like them.
It's the first thing we look at. It's the first.
It is. It is. Yeah. We need more friends that look like Quasimodo. Is what we need. That also watch movies. I would happily have them on every week and be like, look how much better we look. We pop on screen compared to Quasi over there.
Yeah.
Or you think they're shortened as Modo? That's probably Modo.
Q. I think it's just Q.
You think it's Q? Q's been tainted. Yeah, you probably can't just go with Q anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's right. I guess you can.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what Bond is going to do.
Quasidon. I don't know. That's true. It's true. Qmodo might work. Yeah.
That was point number one. Yeah. Point number two is they tend to outshine us as well. They come in with fresh perspectives, good points, and be like, God, we look terrible by comparison here.
Yeah, we can't hang with these people.
Yeah, it's not fair. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Just self-flagellating in front of the entire world. This doesn't seem right. I don't know that there was a conscious decision.
No, I think it was because of COVID and because I moved to San Diego. I think we kind of just settled into a pattern of us just doing the show. And when we do it at a certain time every week. That being said, though, I mean, it's not a bad idea to maybe look at it. But I mean, the shows then become like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the only.
Yeah. And I think with Matt and I's schedule and all the stuff we've got going on separately in our own lives, the idea of bringing a guest on those sounds exciting. The idea of doing a 3.5 hour show, which I think the Draco one is like 3.5 hours, is a bit overwhelming to consider for sure. Because I mean, it's not the only thing we do. Yeah, go ahead.
I think Rachel's is the longest we've ever done.
Oh, Cushing? Yeah.
We did like historical epics or something like that. And that was like 2:45. Something along those lines.
Most people don't have time at noon on a Thursday, which is when we usually record, to come and do it. It's maybe something we should kind of factor into our conversations going forward if we want to, maybe, because obviously I have guests on all my shows when I do the StreamYard stuff, and obviously Matt's we're doing this on the StreamYard, so Matt's not local here in San Diego, so like I can do that. But so it's not a bad point you bring up, Matt. Maybe Nost and I have a conversation, kind of figure out, with some topics coming up if we want to bring people on. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but I think you bring up two salient points, which is the primary one is we do this on Thursdays at this time.
Yeah.
Like there have been fluctuations just given whatever our schedules.
Yeah,
we'll let each other know in advance. Hey, can we switch this to? But it's, I'd say about 47 or 48 weeks out of the year. It is, we do it on this day at this time. Whereas when you have guests, you need to be accommodating to their schedule.
Right.
And the more people's schedules you have to factor in, it just makes it more and more difficult. Not impossible. We both do shows with guests.
Yeah.
And then two, it's, we're already blowhards. And routinely Like this week's show is the shortest we've done in, I'd say, a month and a half.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Minutes. And it's the shortest we've done in a month and a half.
Yeah.
They've been averaging out to like $1.45 to $1.50.
Yeah.
And you put in somebody else's opinions in there, well, that's going to be at least another 45 minutes, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a lot of time, A, for us to record, but B, for you to listen.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are making it through all the way to the end of a 2 hour and 45-minute show.
Yeah, that's the question. Like if we because with Cinephiles, we've kind of started doing parts. So we do 2-part episodes. So halfway through the movie, we'll stop, and then next week is part 2. I don't think people would put up with that in a top 10 show.
Yeah, no.
Stop at 5, and then you'd release part 2 next week to finish.
Yeah, you
out.
need the finality.
Yeah.
The finality of it. Of like, I tuned in for a top 10.
Right. Maybe on a show where like there's only 10 to 11 films that the person has done or that this subject matter covers, it could be fun because then we're all like having the same number or having the same films pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And that could make it go quicker. But that being said, yeah, what Matt says is great. Plus, I mean, like, to be honest, because we're not a dishonest show, the Patreon has gone down. People aren't supporting it as strongly as they did in the past. And I think if people started supporting it at higher numbers, if the money started coming into higher things, that could be tempting to encourage guests to come on. Maybe we could pay them a little bit, whatever, and they could work it within their schedule to come on when we usually record. So I think that's the thing is like, yeah, it was great having guests and it was awesome. And at the time we were riding high, and obviously I lived in LA, so it was much easier to schedule. Matt could be a little more flexible. I could be more flexible. And so we were able to bring guests on at different times. Like I remember we recorded the Andraco one at my apartment in West Hollywood at the time at night. We did it at night. Matt drove in. And so that isn't the same kind of situation that we have now. And yes, you could argue like, well, you can pop up anytime when you're online, but it's not the same because we've just gotten more busier in our lives. And so it just makes it harder to schedule that. Like almost every night I have screenings or stuff I need to watch in order to review or talk about because more people are reaching out to ask me to do that. So it's a lot of pressure. And so then that would be time we could probably record with guests who are working in the daytime. And scheduling, because I mean I go through this with Michael and Shannon all the time with Geek Buddies. I have to work through their schedules, which are just as weird and fluctuating as mine, or with Laura Kelly, who has a set time, but she cannot record until after a certain time, and so those things you have to kind of navigate. So I think that's as honest as at least from my end that I can be. If the Patreon was to go back up again to where it was before, then I think Matt and I would feel much more relaxed to like be a little more malleable and figure things out and get guests on. I could drive up to LA or whatever to do it in person. We could rent a studio or whatever, because those are the possibilities. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And until it becomes the case, I think it makes it a little bit harder to book guests and make it. What is it? Make it. I don't know. What is it? Make it make sense that we should do a 3-hour or 3.5-hour show, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, just that length rather. I just don't see anybody listening. I mean, we will still have our listeners, but if you're staring at, holy shit, that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
It'll take you days to get through.
Yeah.
Not against it.
Yeah.
It's totally possible.
Sure.
But it wasn't a conscious decision. It's just kind of we fell in the routine of, hey, see Thursday. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, and then don't even think about getting a guest.
Yeah.
Just because it's the routine at this point.
Right.
So yeah, nothing against the guests.
Not at all.
But we do need uglier friends.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I want. You know.
Yeah. All right.
But thank you, Matthew Simmons.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
What's
our next one?
Next one comes to us from Maurice Robinson. He says, "Hey, John and Matt, I hope this finds you well. I have another simple blue-collar question for you. What celebrity would you like to have on, wow, as a guest of the show?
Whoa, we got a theme
Any
going.
celebrity you'd like? Also, just because I like drama and comedy, I think the list should be of an actor or director that the celebrity guest hates. So who would the top 10 list be of as well? I'm thinking Vin Diesel does the top 10 Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies. Loving all the content the show is putting out. P.S. I am drafting a proposal for my household CFO
Ooh,
to allow me to up my Patreon tier so I can watch the video format of Topic Thunder.
there you go.
LLTTTS.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either.
Long live the top 10 show. There you go.
Gosh darn it, that's good.
That is good. You are good.
Yeah. And you pulled that acronym out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we go from one guest question to another, but what celebrity guest would you want to have on? And if you could create some conflict for them.
This is actually fun. I would have Chris Rock on to do the top 10 Will Smith films.
Will Smith, sure. Why not?
I think that's the number one thing. I think that's the number one thing. Oh man.
Yeah, now I'm trying to rack my brain of who has public feuds
Yeah.
and then who has enough movies. Okay, what about Martin Scorsese and we do comic book movies?
Yeah, or Marvel movies, just specifically
Yeah.
Marvel movies. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Either or, and be like, Marty, you got to give us your 10. And if you tell me you don't have 10, I'm telling you tough shit. You got to go watch 10 movies.
We're gonna make you watch New York, and try to explain to us why you made that movie. Absolutely.
Let's see. Who else? Who else we
can
got?
we- How about we get Matthew Perry to come on and do the top 10 Keanu Reeves films?
Sure. Why
His
not?
recent comments.
Feige to do his top 10 DC movies.
Oh my God. I think he'd actually love to do that.
I think he would too. He's a comic book dude. I was just trying to, because of the Jimmy Gunn split over to DC, and now I don't think that there's actual animosity. Although I do like his quote of, he still has work to do for us before he takes over there.
Yeah.
But he's well aware. You're like, yep.
I don't think I think it would be much more enjoyable if we had Dwayne Johnson come on to do the top 10 Vin Diesel films, not the other way around. Because I don't think Vin Diesel would actually be.
No, I think Vin Diesel would be boring.
Yeah, I think he'd be boring. I don't think he'd be that funny. I think The Rock, who is just has a history of being able to throw shade during promos of the WWE or outside in Hollywood, would be great to have to talk the top 10
Did you know
Vin Diesel films. Yeah.
I heard this story about Conan where he had a writer go off and then start writing for WWE.
Oh,
When he was in New York doing his show there, 30 Rock.
okay.
Which I is not uncommon. WWE, I know, has approached at least one other comic that I know to come write for him.
They like people who are outside the business.
Yeah, which I didn't know until this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
They're like, I got an offer to job at WWE, but I have to move from LA to Connecticut. And he didn't want
you
to
have
move.
to come to Stanford. Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, I don't want to move to Connecticut. It's like, oh, that's understandable. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Conan in The Office, when, as told by Conan, when he would go into the writer's room and just, start breaking balls, and one of his favorite stupid catchphrases, and he was more than admitting of it, saying, this is dumb. And I knew it was dumb, and I liked it because it was so dumb. And everybody else enjoyed it because it was so stupid.
Right.
When he didn't like an idea that somebody had, he's like, yeah, why don't you go get a glass of shut up juice? Just stupid. Just like a child, but a child doesn't know how to insult people.
Yeah.
And so the writer then went over to WWE and he contacts Conan. And he's like, hey, this Sunday or whatever, tune in and watch.
Yeah.
And The Rock drops that as a cut down on somebody and just tell him, go get a glass of shut up juice. And then apparently later that week, people showed up to the next live event and they had made signs about shut up juice. And Conan was like, this was awesome. Some stupid thing that I said. And now The Rock is using it as a cut down and people embraced it. He clearly didn't use it for that long.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid line.
Yeah, but at the time, it worked with the Attitude Era.
Well, yeah, The Rock's just the charisma, and you can just say whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I would infinitely rather have The Rock, because all Vin is going to do is talk about, my little brother, had he
Yeah.
Learn the acting chops. He would have done this. You're like, dude, shut the fuck up.
I also think the Rock is the kind of genuine guy who would actually admit if Vin was good in a movie.
Sure.
I think he bust balls if Vin wasn't that great, and he might even put like the pacifier on there or something just to take digs at Vin. But I think he'd actually be honest with the list by the end and have like the top 5 be legitimately good performances by Vin. He might still take shots, but he'd actually give him his flowers, which I think would be the difference here. He's got that kind of energy.
Yeah, he does.
That he would do that.
He does, but he would be a much better guest, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Having never met either man, but
well, I have. Chelsea Handler would be funny to have on to do the top 10 Angelina Jolie movies. I think that would be fun. She fucking hates Jolie.
Okay, yeah, I don't. I've met her.
You've met Chelsea or Jolie?
Chelsea.
Okay, all right.
She's all right.
Okay.
I mean, it was years ago. It was like right before she blew up.
Mm-hmm.
She was nice enough, but
yeah,
I don't know that I need to hang out with her again. I spent
wow, there's a lot going on. What you're not saying. Okay,
not really. It's just she came down and did the store, and I was a door guy and whatnot, and hung out and talked and whatever else. But I wasn't so mesmerized that I'm like, you know what? I want to spend 2 hours talking to you nonstop.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
I mean, if we're saying celebrity, she's not a celebrity to me, though.
Yeah.
She is to everybody else.
A celebrity.
She's a huge celebrity.
Chelsea is, yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah, no, I remember you as that. I saw you before you blew up. You're not really a celebrity to me.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't know that they had a feud.
Oh yeah, ever since the Aniston stuff, because she's a big she's a friend of Aniston, and so for her, she has been on Team Jolie Team Aniston from the beginning, claiming that Jolie like cheated on Jennifer Aniston with Brad Pitt and stole him essentially from Jennifer Aniston, even though she claims that she had nothing to do with it. She doesn't believe her. So
why should she?
You're right, exactly. It's Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, it's a tale as old as time in Hollywood.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Fuck, Jim Carrey made a career of it for a while. He just ended up dating his leading counterpart.
Right. With Renee Zellweger and other people.
And Lauren Holly.
Oh, yeah, Lauren Holly. Right, that's right.
I think there was another one in there, too. Just like, all right. Seemed like the world's highest paid theater actor at this point. Just sleeping with your co-star over and over again, but teach their own.
You know, it'd be great if we get Kanye to come do the top 10 Taylor Swift songs. That would be fucking great. Kind of go outside of movies.
Kanye to do his top 10 favorite South Park episodes.
Oh.
Yeah. Top 10, Kanye's top 10 Jewish authors.
Oh.
Top 10, yeah. There's a lot to do with Kanye.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot to do.
But I don't think he would recognize our lists as being valid because he didn't write them.
That's right. That's right.
So why is he even why are we comparing our list to his?
Yeah. I'm looking through some celebrity feuds, trying to find some of these where it would make sense to bring them on to talk about films,
James Corden to talk about his favorite Patrick Stewart films. He's got to have more than one feud.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Corden? Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I'm just saying of somebody that's been in film to where you could do their top 10. There's got to be others. That's the only one I can think of.
What about Shonda Rhimes to do the top 10 Katherine Heigl movies?
I think she would say there aren't 10 and we need to move on.
Which would be the point. It would be the great point of it all. I don't know. What else? How about George Takei to come on to the top 10 Star Trek?
Shatner?
Yeah, with Shatner.
Do his favorite Shatner movies?
Or Cottrell. We need Kim Cottrell to come on to the top 10
Sarah Jessica Parker
movies. Oh, come on.
That's a good one. Exactly. To have to hear her praise Sarah Jessica Parker. Because I think Sarah could do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
Because she seems very much the good politician.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kim would be able to bite her tongue for a full show.
I don't think so either.
Once again, never met any of these people.
No, we're just having fun. Yeah. Busting balls.
I don't know if she could or couldn't. Don't know if the animosity is real or not. Seems like it's real.
Yeah. It seems like
Who else? There's got to be a whole. I mean, there are definitely a whole slew of others.
Oh yeah, I just went through like 3 lists here.
Yeah, now I'm just stalling in my head trying to think of who those others are.
You want another one? I don't know.
You got any other juicy good ones?
Most of them involve 50 Cent. I didn't know 50 Cent had so many feuds with people.
Dude, him and Mayweather, so good. Do you ever see where
hate each other, dude?
Where he publicly said, "I'll donate." I think it was $500,000 to any charity you want if you show up here and read a page of this book, because he claims he's illiterate, and Mayweather wouldn't do it. I can't remember what the book was. It was like Harry Potter or something. Just show up and read a page. He wouldn't do it. He was going to donate $500,000.
That is great.
That one was. I remember when that because dusted up, and I don't follow either of those two, but it was around like the Mayweather McGregor era, whatnot.
Yeah.
Where they were fighting, or maybe it was like the last Mayweather Pacquiao, but somewhere in that mix.
But see, there's nothing to do with that. There's nothing movie related to do with that.
No, 50 doesn't have 10 movies.
No. Yeah,
he's tried. I don't think he's actually gotten to 10. I'd have to look at his filmography. I don't think he's gotten to 10 actual movies.
Apparently Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks have a little.
Oh yeah, I'd heard about that. What does that stem from?
He was on Watch What Happens Live, and he was asked why he didn't get along with Tom Hanks on the set of Turner and Hooch. And he said, I was directing that movie for 13 days, and then I was called into producer Katzenberg's office, and he said, you have everything with you, go home. Winkler did, however, seem to get along with the Hanks 4-legged co-star. I got along great with that dog. I love that dog. So having Winkler come in and do the top 10 Tom Hanks movies, that could be fun. That could be real interesting, because everybody thinks Henry Winkler's the nicest guy, and you wonder what would he struggle with.
Yeah, but the problem is all the others, I would kind of relish them talking shit. Henry, I don't want to see it.
You know, because nice guys talking shit. Okay.
Well, because him and Hanks, but him especially, he's been the de facto nicest guy in Hollywood for 50 years.
Yeah, true, very true, very true. Yeah.
Whereas the Hanks one is such an anomaly, and for Hanks to have that, but I'm more believing that Hanks would have that over Winkler. So to actually hear some vitriol come out of Winkler's mouth, I would be kind of sad.
What about Elton John to do the top 10 Madonna movies?
God, that'd be such a good show.
Dude.
She doesn't have 10.
She doesn't have 10, but we would have to like.
Oh, it'd be so good.
He'd be so
top 5
through the whole thing. Yeah, fine. We'll do the first ever top 5 show.
Yeah.
On the top 10.
That's the type of, I'm in for that. I am in for that.
Yeah. Just
because he will, not hold back. He definitely has opinions about Madonna. As we all kind of do.
As we do, yes.
If anybody's been that famous for that long, you tend to have some sort of opinion, whether positive or negative.
She's British by way of Michigan. Yeah, absolutely.
Precisely. There was some quote there from Guy Ritchie like last week or 2 weeks ago. That was unflattering about
Madonna.
About basically like what it was like to sleep next to. It was a very sleeping next to a sinewy piece of meat type of quote. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay. It was not flattering.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oof. Mariah Carey and J-Lo. Having Mariah Carey on to do the top 10 J-Lo movies, that would be awesome. Because Mariah said, like, when they asked her about Jennifer Lopez, she said, oh, I don't know her.
Well, J-Lo's another one with South Park you could do.
Oh, yeah, you could do South Park with J-Lo for sure. Yeah, so those are some of the ones. Maybe
it's a good one, Maurice. Listen, and you should talk to the CFO, because trust me, this was even better on video.
Yeah. Maybe Florence Pugh doing the top 10 Olivia Wilde movies. That could be good.
I'd see a lot of that cast. I would like to hear their opinions, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
Chris Pine.
Oh.
Let's have him do.
Please.
Well, he's been so reserved, but he's just.
Please. Pine knows what went down. Pine knows what went
precisely. Plus, Harry, how dare you spit on one of America's national treasures.
I mean, for the love of God, have some self.
For the love of God. It's not rough enough that this guy somehow keeps picking bad project after bad project. Now you got to spit on him. That's the worst, man. I want nothing more than Pine to succeed. Seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
I always like what he brings to a character.
Me
He
too.
picks some of the worst movies to do.
Yeah.
That new Dungeons and Dragons.
Oof.
Oh my God.
That's a bad situation.
That trailer is I specifically watched it going, come on, Chris. Come on, Chris.
Yeah.
And then watched it and I was like, hey, not so much, Chris. Why did you sign on for this? Son of a bitch.
Come on, Chris.
Fucking another swing and miss again. This does not, this looks terrible. As much as I brought it up on Tuesday, the John Wick 4, I was like,
Yeah.
But I can see where, listen, the trailer didn't do this scene justice or whatever. This whole, the camel thing ends up in this big spectacle and whatever else. They end up in the, where they do in Last Crusade, where they go to Petra, Jordan, but the carve, like they end up in some huge scene like that. And like, whereas the Dungeons and Dragons just, I don't know, it looks like every cliche bad version of those, except now they've got more CGI budget.
Oof.
Yeah. Damn it, Chris. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, I thought it was damn good in Don't Worry, Darling, which is out on HBO Max right now. I mean, he was good in it. Florence Pugh was good in it. Olivia Wilde was even good in it. But the film itself does kind of fall apart there near the end. And what's his face? Harry Styles is okay in that film. He's not great in that film.
Way to be generous. Way to be generous.
Yeah, I mean, I am feeling this emotion right now. That's not acting. You know, if you've got to give something levels, you got to give some believability to it. And with the screening I went to, people started laughing when he showed up as that other side of himself near the end of the movie. And you're just like, that's not the response you want when that situation happens. So anyway, so yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. It's weird the choices he makes. I mean, I thought he was damn good in the Brana version of the Jack Ryan stuff, the Shadow Recruit. I thought he was actually good in that, even though the film itself maybe wasn't that great. He was good at it. I've never seen.
Yeah, but that's the problem. The
bad performance. Yeah,
there's certain expectations when you make that type of film.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't meet, be one thing if it's a really good movie that nobody saw, but when it's an average at best that nobody saw, that's a killer.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's got so many of those that I don't know how many more bites at the apple you're going to get at this point.
I didn't see The Contractor, but a lot of people said they liked it. I haven't seen it.
Which one was that one?
That was the follow-up to the one that Ben Affleck did.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a different one. It's a discharged U.S. Special Forces sergeant risks everything for his family when he joins a private contracting organization. Like him and Ben Foster in this thing. Jillian Jacobs, Community. Huh? Say it again.
Said they teamed back up. I mean, Hell or High Water.
Right, Hell or High Water guys. Yeah. They were part of this. So, and Tariq Saleh directed this, who did nothing that I know. So, but yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
He had that one with Tandy Newton that was pretty good, but nobody saw it.
Oh, All the Old Knives. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the hell it was called. I watched it during the pandemic.
The Outlaw King. I thought he was good in Outlaw King.
Yeah, but then The King came out not too long after that and it just blew it out of the water.
Just stomped on it.
I thought he was good in it. I thought the movie was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually been in way less than you think. So,
yeah. But they're talking about bringing back Star Trek.
Yeah.
And potentially he's Kirk again.
Yeah.
I hope. I like him as Kirk.
I do. I like him as Kirk as well. I really do. Yeah, he's a good-looking dude. For fuck's sake, you're right. Like, find yourself into that friend. Get into the Marvel franchise, for God's sakes.
Well, he's DC, so although that hasn't stopped other people from going back and forth, but
yeah,
I think DC would fight and try and keep him in.
But he's dead twice.
Is he though? He's already come back to life once.
Oh my God, they can't bring him back in 3. They can't.
Of course they can.
Oh my God, that would just be stupid.
Of course they can.
Phenomenally stupid. If they
do you think Momoa is going to get his chance to play Lobo? Because I don't know how the fuck you play Aquaman and Lobo.
Whoever's creating that is out of their fucking mind. He's not going to do both.
You can't.
No, he can't.
You can't. There's no way. It's one thing when Chris Evans leaves a defunct Fantastic Four franchise and then becomes Captain America. It's like, well, they're not making any more of those words. Aquaman's not going away.
That wasn't even under the MCU, which means he could have made the jump. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Aquaman's not going away. And there's no way he's playing Lobo, because it'd be different if he was playing a side character. Like Gemma Chan was a side character in Eternals. Not Eternals, sorry, in Captain Marvel. And so she can come back and play a main character in Eternals. Momoa is playing a main character in the MCU or in the DC
marquee character.
So yeah, right, marquee character. Fair enough. So he's not going to go off and play Lobo now. That makes zero to no sense.
It doesn't, because then eventually Lobo would have to come into contact with Aquaman
at some point with DC.
And how are you going to pull this off?
He's going to fight Lobo fights the Justice League in the comics. So there's no way he wouldn't come in contact with him at some point. If James Gunn is able to pull all this off with Peter Safran, then there's no way that wouldn't happen. So he's not going to play Lobo. It's got to be somebody else. I don't know who started that nonsense, but it's never going to fucking happen. As long as he's Aquaman, it's never going to happen.
And if I'm Petey Safran's PR people,
Petey, okay, yes, go ahead.
We should work on the promo shot that you're sending out for a lot of these releases.
Now you're getting catty.
It's not even catty. It's like, dude, your hair. This is what $1,000 haircut gets you?
Wow.
It's just like a lot of split ends, and it's like, come on, man. You can do better than that.
Thanks.
I don't understand.
I think we've come to the end of our show.
Just saying, there are better photos.
Look, Brian Grazer has survived in Hollywood for years with whatever's going on top of his head. So, I think that.
Yeah, but every one of those hairs was put in place. You know what I mean? In Grazer's head. There's a lot of product and whatnot. And Peter's, it's odd, and it's just like there's like frizz coming out at certain points. It's just like, he knew he was going to be in public this day, right?
It hasn't affected his success, so clearly, why would he change it? I just feel like
quite possibly. The pictures because I didn't know the man.
Clearly.
I saw the pictures because it was always him side by side with Gunn.
Yeah.
And Gunn makes choices with his hair, but it's just like, that's a purposeful choice. Whereas yours it's like half a choice and half like, I don't give a fuck. And you're like, hey, you're kind of running the show now. Seems an odd choice from the outside looking in.
You know what? We should get Terrence Howard to do the top 10 Robert Downey Jr. films. I think that would be perfect.
Actually, I just like to hear him break down his new math. I still haven't gotten that treatise that he was supposed to give the world at some point. You think 1 + 1 = 2, but it doesn't. Okay. All right. What do you got? New Archimedes? What give it to me. What did Pythagoras get wrong? I'd love to fucking hear it, man.
Oh, great mathematician.
Yeah. I got these new maths. Fine. Love to hear it, buddy. All ears. So his top 10 new favorite math theorems, I'm in.
All right, we should go. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Topic Thunder. We appreciate it madly. Thanks for sending in your questions, thoughts, and comments. Keep sending them in. I mean, send the brackets in for sure. But we are definitely going to, make it more of a point to do these Topic Thunders. So please send in your questions, thoughts, and comments. Everybody at the $5 and above level gets to send them in. So if you've been hesitating about being a patron, hesitate no longer. Join at $5 and above and send in your questions, thoughts, and comments. We get to all of them. So just letting you know. All right, Matt, anything else we need to say? Tell them.
On Twitter, you can follow the show at Top 10 Show, all spelled out. And on YouTube and Instagram, it's / the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost.
You can follow me at The Roca Says. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Topic
Thunder.